Hi, it's Beth here from Modernized Spirituality. Today's video is going to be about 3 of the most efficient ways to use law of attraction. So that they're just some techniques on how to try and pinpoint the law of attraction strategies as best as possible. So just a brief overview on what law of attraction is for those who don't know. So law of attraction is basically the idea that you attract what you are and what you think. So each of our thought forms, they have an energetic presence. So whatever thoughts you're admitting, they have a specific charge. Everything fundamentally is energy. All of our thoughts are energy forms really, so depending on what kind of thought it is will depend on what kind of energy is emitted from that thought. So it could be a positive thought, it could be a negative thought, it could be a more neutral thought. So obviously if you're releasing a positive thought, then you're emitting a positive vibration, you're emitting a positive energy, you're emitting that particular track of that thought. And then obviously if it's a negative thought, then it's the same thing, you're emitting a lower vibration. But in essence, all of these thoughts will create your surroundings. So if you think about it this way, we all have our own point of awareness. So we all are aware of our own mind, we're all aware of our own, inner talk, things like that. We all have our own perspective on everything that we experience in life. Everything that we experience is a reflection of our thoughts. So in terms of the actual consciousness itself, so when you're producing a thought that stems from the conscious, so when you're producing a thought that stemmed from an experience, then you're putting it out there into the universe, you're putting it in that sort of field, that energy field, and then it's also impressing onto your subconscious. So all of these beliefs that we decide, all of these thoughts that we have, we're impressing them on the subconscious. If we really, if we're really feeling it, then we're impressing it on the subconscious, which means that the subconscious is then going to direct that impression out into the universe, which is going to manifest it then. That's how all of our thoughts create our reality. In terms of creating your reality technically already exists. So the reality that you prefer already exists in some dimension somewhere. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to imagine it, we wouldn't be able to picture it. If we can feel that we are that, then it must exist, or else we wouldn't be able to feel it, if that makes sense. So I'm not overly keen on the term your thoughts create your reality. I prefer the thought your thoughts choose your reality, because all of the reality already exists anyway. So that's the general consensus of law of attraction. The way that we can manifest our desires through the law of attraction is obviously by thinking specific thoughts that you want to attract. Instead of thinking about the more negative connotations of situations and experiences, because that makes you focus on the lack of. When you're focusing on the lack of, if you're saying, oh well, I don't have this person in my life, for example, and you're trying to attract them in that way because you're thinking, oh well, I need this person for this and this and this, then you're focusing on a lack of there. So you're focusing on the fact that you don't have them instead of focusing on the fact that you will have them, if that makes sense. So you need to eradicate that lack of mindset first of all. Now onto the actual 3 techniques to use. So the first technique is probably the most important. They're all as important as each other. I'm not going to be able to obviously go down into the details with just 3 techniques, but if you do want another video going a lot deeper into the law of attraction, if it's something that you are interested in, that you want to learn about, then just leave me a comment or send me a message and I'll definitely do a few more of these sort of law of attraction type videos. So the first effective method is to visualize before you go to sleep. So before you go into sleep, you're in a theta state, so it means that you're a lot more subconsciously open to impressions. So when you're in that state, as you're drifting off to sleep, that's the perfect time to visualize, because you are in a state where it's a theta state. So whatever you're thinking, you're not distracted by external circumstances, because you're in, your eyes are closed, you're drifting off to sleep, your thoughts are kind of more clear in your head because you're preparing to enter into your more astral body as you're going to sleep, which again, that can be a whole nother video on itself. If you're interested in learning about the astral body, leave me a comment, let me know. But yeah, so when you're in that state, it's a lot more easier to impress the subconscious because there's not as much activity going on in the conscious mind as you're drifting off to sleep. Now, when I'm saying visualizations, I don't just mean just like a quick general random visualization of what you want. It's got to be very specific. I'd suggest writing it out or planning it out beforehand, so then when you are in that state of that theta state, you're not scrambling to try and think of a scenario. You're relaxed. You've got the scenario already in your head. You're not trying to create when you're in that condition. You're just trying to visualize. Basically, you've already got the visualization there, so it's already there in your imagination, ready for you to really strongly feel and sense that experience. So when you're doing that, you've got to think about all the senses. You've got to see, hear, feel, taste if you can, smell if you can. If you can get it as specific as possible, then that will work best. The number one sensory gauge that you need to have really is to feel it. So you need to feel the emotion as if it already exists. So when you're doing this visualization, you're not thinking of it as if it's going to come. You're thinking as if you have that thing right now. So for example, if it's like you want to travel, then you could imagine being on a beach. You imagine it from first person, so you imagine it as if it's from your own eyes, as if you're kind of like a character in a game, if you like. And you're imagining that you're on a beach. You can smell the salt in the sea. You can feel the sand in your toes. You can see really vividly, you know, like the blue of the sea, the blue of the sky, palm trees around. You can feel the pure relaxation inside you. You can feel the emotion that it would give you to be in that particular scenario. I would just suggest visualizing it for a couple of minutes maximum, because you don't want to oversaturate. Now the key is to saturate it as much as you can in your subconscious, because then it's sinking in, you're impressing it, you're saturating it. However, you shouldn't become too obsessed where you're thinking about it non-stop. You're getting really, really deep into all of the hows and all of the specific information that you don't need. So if it's irrelevant specifics, you don't need to put that in. But if you just be as specific as possible in terms of your sensory information, then that's going to be best. So that's the first technique, visualization before bed. Specific visualization in terms of your senses. Now the second technique is to always remember, and this is really important, this is probably where people mess up the most in manifestation, is that the way that we manifest in our desires, it comes from an internal intention instead of an external intention. So by that I mean it has to come from something that's deep within you, and that you know that you have to adapt to manifest this thing. If it doesn't work, it's because it's a projection of you. If it's a slow process, that's because of your beliefs. If it doesn't happen, like I say, that's because of your beliefs, your fears that you need to change. There's nothing in the external world that you need to change to manifest something. It's all internal, so it all comes from within. All of our intentions to manifest particular things, they all stem from within. So, for example, let's go back to the relationship. Okay, so if you're trying to manifest a relationship, if you're trying to change a person in the external world, so if you're trying to change a person, then it's not going to work, because what needs to change is not that other person, because they're purely a projection of you. So how can they change if they're a projection of you and you don't change yourself? So if you follow the concept of everyone is yourself pushed out, which is a concept by Neville Goddard, and a lot of this law of attraction is taken from Neville Goddard's lectures. I'm probably going to be doing a lot more videos based on Neville Goddard's theories, because I just resonate with him a lot, and I find that a lot of his teachings are very accurate in my personal experience and a lot of other people's experiences. So you've got to follow the concept that everyone is yourself pushed out, so therefore you can't possibly change anything in the external world, because everything stems from you anyway. And it makes a lot of sense that everyone is you pushed out, because if you think about it this way, so if there was a group of people, there was a group of 5 people, and then there was one particular person who was the centre of attention. So those 4 other people will have a different perspective on that particular person, depending on whatever their experiences are and whatever their thoughts are at that moment in time. Someone might really like that person, someone might find them annoying, someone may find them attractive, someone may find them ugly. You know, it all depends on experiences within ourselves. It all depends on our own perspective. It all depends on our own awareness, on our own experiences in the past, everything like that. So everyone has one awareness which then influences their external reality. So if you want to manifest something, you have to understand that it comes through internal changes, inner talk, inner dialogue, inner beliefs, inner fears. This is going to be, like I say, the number one thing that probably holds you back from manifesting what you want is your internal thought. Now, the third technique is to always live in the end. So this kind of ties in with the first technique. When you've done your visualizations, there's going to be something called a bridge of incidents, where there's kind of like a waiting period between when you visualize and when your manifestation comes to fruition. Now, this bridge of incidents will purely depend on your own inner self. So it'll depend on what your beliefs are, it depends on what your fears are. You may find that some things manifest within a day, immediately, and then you'll find that some other things will take a few weeks, maybe even a few months to manifest, depending on what your perspective is on that particular situation. So if you have a lack mindset about a specific thing, so let's say, for example, if you're trying to manifest a relationship and you're trying to manifest a business, if you've been raised to believe that you need to work really hard, you need to be really clever to have a business and all this sort of thing, and it's still subconsciously, that's still kind of drilled into you a little bit. With a business, there is resistance there because you have self-limiting beliefs that you've not fully integrated and worked through, so that will take a little bit longer. It's not to say that it won't happen, because you can obviously work through the limiting beliefs and the fears, but until you do that, it is going to take a little bit longer because there is that resistance there. So it is going to kind of, when the manifestation is coming to fruition, when the bridge of incidents is occurring and it's trying to connect up all of these different things, then there's going to be some sort of resistance that's meeting it, which is going to slow down this flow, slow down this bridge of incidents and this connection that needs to happen throughout, behind the scenes, for it to come to life. So that's why it's important to live in the end and to conquer those limiting beliefs, is because if you continuously live in this present moment, so again, going back to like the relationship example, if you're trying to manifest someone and at the moment they're not speaking to you, they have blocked you or something like that, you can obviously get in a bit of a state where you're thinking about the present moment. You're thinking, oh well, I'm not going to manifest them because they've blocked me, they're not speaking to me, they ignored me or whatever, but you can't think of that because the situation that's happening at the present, because everyone is you pushed out, that situation is based off your thoughts and your beliefs in a previous time. So it could be that because your thoughts are always creating your reality, so you need to understand that. So even when you're not aware of it, your thoughts are always creating your reality, are always choosing your reality for you. If you're in autopilot mode, then obviously you're not going to acknowledge this straight away. But when you're experiencing these kind of like negative, disconnected experiences at the present time as you're trying to visualize, then you need to understand that this was a reflection of your thoughts yesterday, last week, last month, which were kind of, like negative, disconnecting thoughts. So that's just being projected out. Whatever beliefs you have, they're gonna manifest in themselves. So if you have a belief that it's not going to work, then it's not going to work. So you need to strongly keep picturing that scenario where it is the end. So you are working in the business that you want to work. So in that visualization, you'd imagine at the end, you'd imagine maybe speaking to someone about telling them how grateful you are that your business is amazing. Or it could be that you are imagining that you're at home working on your business and how grateful that you feel that you can work on your business at home. Or it could be that you're, if it's a relationship and you want to get married, for example, it could be that you're envisioning your 1 year anniversary, so it's after the result that you want, so it's in the end, so it's not in the middle, it's not it's not the lead up to whatever it is that you desire, it's at the end. And you need to just consistently remind yourself that that is going to be your end result. And you need to stop thinking about the middle. Don't try and figure out how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, because that's completely out of your control. You just need to plant that seed and then just basically try and remain positive throughout the bridge of incidents, and try and eradicate any fears and any worries that you have. If you do have like fears and worries and they do pop into your mind during this waiting period, this bridge of incidents, it's a good time for you to be able to distinguish what is holding you back. So just think of it as a positive thing in terms of you're able to identify what those fears are that's been holding you back throughout your life, and what particular thought forms, what particular beliefs have been manifesting certain situations in your life at the present moment that are situations that you may not, want to happen. So if you keep getting the same relationship where you keep getting treated like shit, or you keep going through the same sort of stuff over and over and over again, that will be because of a deeply rooted belief and a fear that you have, which is basically planting seeds and creating this manifestation. It's just on a subconscious level rather than it being to your awareness, basically. So yeah, just try and live in the end. Do live in the end. That's really important, to make sure that you do live in the end, because otherwise you're going to keep meeting that resistance, because you're just going to be thinking about how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, what the bridge of incidents is going to be like. And like I say, we have no control over that. We only have control over the thoughts and the energy that we emit. So we need to make sure that we remain in a positive way, or even a neutral way. If you can't stay positive, just stay neutral. And and then you'll start to see that once the walls are broken down, once the resilience is not as strong, the manifestations will come to fruition a lot quicker. It's worth trying. If you want to just try and see how manifestations work, it's worth to just write down a few intentions that you have, a few desires that you have that you want to come into manifestation. However, let them be desires that you're not attached to. So instead of something that's really important, so something that you've placed a lot of importance on, which again, try not to do that, try not to place importance on it, because that again causes resistance. But say for example, one that I tried was when I first started doing it is I just thought of a random thing, first thing that popped into my head, to try and manifest something that I wasn't attached to, didn't really care if it happened or not, I just wanted to try it out, and I wanted to create an intention, plant a seed, and see if it happened. So for me, I randomly thought of a yellow butterfly. I was like, right, okay, I'm going to intend to see a yellow butterfly. I visualised it for about 30 seconds and then dropped it. Didn't even think about it again. That's why it's perfect to just drop things once it's embedded into your subconscious. Drop it. It's created the impression. You don't need to continuously think about it. Maybe think about it for a couple of nights. And then, have a break from it, drop it. If you need to think about it again at night time in a few days, a few weeks, then go for it. But try not to, become obsessed with visualising it constantly. So, thought of this yellow butterfly, visualised it, dropped it, and then a few days later, didn't even think about it again, to be honest. Completely forgot about it. And then I was just drawn to go into this crystal shop. So I went into, it's called A Spirit. It's in Stockport. It's a really good shop. They do a lot of really good classes as well. I'll put their page in the description box below just so you can check them out. Anyway, I went into their shop and I was just having a look around. I didn't plan to even go in the shop at first, to be honest. I just had, in the morning, I was just like, let's go in the shop and just see what comes of it. So I went into the shop and then I looked at the cabinet and there was two big yellow butterflies, and there was only, I think there was the yellow ones and then there was like some pink ones as well. So it's not like they had like an array of colours. It was just that there was just these two particular colours. So I saw these butterflies and I was like, oh, no way. That only took a couple of days because I wasn't attached to the outcome, and it was the first time that I'd tried to do it. So if I tried to do something like that now, it probably would come a lot quicker because I've kind of polished up on my techniques a little bit more now. So because I didn't specify either whether it was like a real life butterfly, I just said I intend to see a yellow butterfly. I manifested exactly what I asked for, really, because I just saw a yellow butterfly. So that's why it's important when you're doing your intentions and you're doing your visualizations, you're quite specific in terms of what it is you actually want, because the universe is going to take literally what you're imagining and then create it. So that's why you can't really visualize during the bridge of incidents. So some people try and visualize like text messages and phone calls, which I don't think is the best way to approach it, because yeah, you may manifest that particular text or that particular phone call, but then what happens afterwards? You've just manifested that, and then, you know, you could just go your separate ways afterwards and just not talk again. But you've just spoke during that one particular text because you've manifested a text. So the universe has taken what you wanted and manifested it. But because you've not been specific, or because you've not lived in the end, then the universe doesn't understand that. It doesn't understand. You can't speak to the universe and just say it. You know, the universe adapts based on your things, manifest through intention, through visualization, through thoughts, feelings, emotions, you know, all of that sort of stuff. So that's the language of the universe, if you like. So yeah, I hope those kind of helped you put into perspective how to use the law of attraction to manifest what you want. There is a lot more information on law of attraction that I can give to you as well. A lot of teachings that I've learned. Neville Goddard, obviously listen to more of his lectures. Listen to Dr. Wayne Dyer. He's another amazing person to listen to. If you do want some more videos, then just let me know. If there's anything specific that you want me to discuss in my next video, so if you want me to discuss what you could potentially be doing, which is, you know, hindering your manifestation process, what kind of things are stopping you from manifesting what you want, how to overcome these obstacles, then just let me know and I'll make another one. But yeah, if you enjoyed today's video, please give me a like, share and subscribe. I really appreciate all the support. My whole reason for my channel is to basically help people to understand that there is so much more that they're able to achieve in life. And just to be able to manifest that we are creators. We were put on this earth to create. Everything that we do is a creation. We are in ourselves a creation. It's purely your own limitations that's stopping you. That is literally it. And once you start to clear out your conscience, once you start to untangle these beliefs and untangle these fears, identify, become more aware, then you'll see that a lot more of your desires come to fruition. So yeah, like I say, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.